David Limbrick is, of course, a Liberal Democrats member of the upper house in Victoria. We talk to him so regularly because he is the common sense guy, at least on sort of the inside of the process here, at least as a member of the Parliament. He can look these people in the eye, he can demand a certain amount of information. David, this is nonsense. It's just nonsense. Now, we can be polite and put up with all the sort of polite Goldilocks-y rules that say 5Ks last week, 6Ks would have killed you, but now it's 25K. All of this rubbish, right? Kids can dance. They can dance. They're not singing. So the whole exertion thing, I'm not going to suggest wear a mask, but they can do this.
Look, I was at the protest on Saturday, and I listened to Charlize and what she had to say, the little girl that was interviewed before, and she explained it beautifully. Like she doesn't understand why the restrictions exist, and neither do I. And she also explained that, dancers naturally socially distance. They have to stay away from each other because when they're spinning around and stuff, they end up, hitting each other and things like this. So she said they naturally keep apart from each other so they don't injure each other. They don't understand. I don't understand. I've got to say, this was the most wholesome protest I've ever been to in my life. I've been to a lot of protests, as you'd know. And look, I think they did Carolyn, I'd like to give a shout out to Carolyn from Two Shoes Dance Academy who organised this, and also Real Ruction who took the footage. I think this is a really great example of a group of people who are really passionate about what they do, coming together to say, this doesn't make sense. And this is not just children. I know that, kids are very passionate about this and it's an important part of their life. But for some older students, this is part of their professional career aspirations. Like, I've spoken to professional ballet schools that I brought this up in Parliament just last week, and they need to do exams. They want to be professional ballet dancers. And they had the same problem last year. They couldn't do their exams. Now this year they've been delayed in their exams. It's just outrageous the way these people get treated. And like you said, like all these other sports go back first. It seems to be that, dance schools always seem to be the last on the radar. But there's thousands and thousands of students that do this throughout Victoria.
Yeah, and also, look, here's the challenge, right? To anyone on telly or radio who's in a position to say, let the girls dance or let the kids dance, let the people go back to... Can you start tweeting about this? If you've got access to an FM breakfast show, can you call them tomorrow morning? And while you tell the story about, stubbing your toe, get the message in there about let the kids dance again? Because, they've worked out that basically you can facepalm us, facepalm your good self, because they've worked out their little way to guarantee everything through with the Greens and Patton and the animal justice people, right? But we've got to come at them from a different angle here too, because, David, normal people, when they hear of the absurdities like this, they go, well, that doesn't make any sense. But the problem is that it's so hard to get the word out. And it's why we're so relentless. It's why we have to talk about this almost every damn night, because if you don't, then you're somebody like Rachel who's just banging her head against a brick wall, and she's trying to do it the nice way.
Look, what this comes down to for the schools and for everyone else that's under these restrictions is uncertainty. No one knows when they can open up again, when you can do different things. And so what I've started talking about is let's set a date for all of this to end. And I've put forward a date that I nominate, 4th of December. I'm calling it Freedom Day, where this will give everyone enough time that wants to get a vaccine can go ahead and get a vaccine. The people that don't want to get one, we don't have to discriminate against them or have vaccine passports or any nonsense like that. We can educate people on how to manage risks themselves instead of relying on the government to manage all the risks for them. And let's just say on a certain date, we open up. Because in reality, if we've handed over our state and our country in many ways to these health bureaucrats, and they are never, ever going to release control. So eventually we just have to give them a deadline, say, this is your deadline. We do whatever we can before that date to do whatever preparations are necessary, and then we open up. We get rid of all the restrictions, we get rid of all the controls, and we say, from this date forward, we're going to go forward, and we're going to fight this virus. We go back to the old normal, back to the normal, not this new normal that they're talking about.
I'm with you. Good on you, David. Love talking to you, mate. All the best. David Limbrick there, member of the upper house in Victoria.